was fine. Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much, Olufunke. Thank you guys, thank you guys, thank you. Okay, okay. All right, everyone. So I am really glad to have you guys here. Like it's been an amazing day for me, getting ready, taking breaks and all of that. So I am really glad to. Yeah. So today we're going to learn about choosing a career and then changing your career. And in our last lesson, we spoke about how the world, how we belong to a sort of environment or a society where a lot of things that we do are accidental, right? I remember us talking about from the point where you start, from the point where you start you leave secondary school and then you write your YPAP exams or your YPAP, and then you move into the university, picking the course that you want to study, and then getting out of school. And then we learned, or we mentioned that there's a whole lot of accidental efforts that goes in between the journey from leaving school and then starting a career. And for a lot of people, they do not actually start a career, they just get a job. How many of us can relate? Please just drop chats. I'm not sure I can see your chats anymore, but yeah, so for a lot of people, they just, they don't start a career, they just get a job and then they start to roll, and it just goes on from there. And it's a problem, it's a challenge that I believe. So today we're going to be learning about how to choose a career for those of you who are just entering into the professional world, and how to switch your career for those of you who have found yourself in places where you don't exactly like. I'm not sure I can see your comments anymore, so please drop your comments so I can see them. Okay, I can see your comments. What's going on? Okay, I can see your comments now. Okay. Okay, all right. So appears. Okay, yes. So yeah, so we have a lot of, you have people who don't start a career, right? They just get a job and then that is it. And then they get another job, and at the end of the day, when you see somebody's CV at the end of 4 or 5 years, you just find out that they have a lot of distorted experiences. They have a lot of distorted career experiences that could affect them, right? That could affect getting a job in the future, because there was no planning right from start. There was no planning right from the start. So yes, so I can go ahead. So why is it important to choose your career? It's just intentionality, right? The more intentional you are about things, the better your chances of getting more from it, or from a particular thing, the better your chances of actually getting more from it. It's important that you are able to see ahead, you are able to think ahead, and you are able to plan ahead, so that sorry, this is really crazy. Okay, so you're able to see ahead, and then you will also be able to plan ahead for the possible kinds of jobs that you want to get. So I have a number of things that we're going to be talking about, but before I start, like I've started already anyway, but before I start to list all the things that I believe will help you refine your career starting experience or career switching experience, I want to mention this quickly. And it is that you need to realize, you need to come to terms with the fact that a lot of times your career path is going to be different from somebody else's career path, right? Our career paths are not the same. So your career paths are always going to be different. You won't have the same career path with somebody else. So please let me see your comment if you got that. If you got that quickly. And it's very common, it's very usual that after you finish school and you find that if your friend has gotten a particular kind of job in, you know, in a top company, and then yeah, they're still struggling. It feels like they are running, yeah, they are running faster than you are, and then it just feels like, oh, I've done everything I know how to do, I don't know what else I need to do, and you start to feel depressed or frustrated. It's important to know that career paths are very different. They are different in terms of the industries, they are different in terms of the individuals, and because we have like different variables that are usually at play. There could be the location issue, there could be the network issue, there could be a lot of variables at play that, you know, make it look like somebody is moving at a faster rate than you are. So it's why it's super important to not get to that point where you are constantly comparing yourself with somebody else, because your career path is, it's very, very unique to you. It's very unique to you. So that's why you find that for some people, you may have gone to the same kind of schools with the person, and then you were roommates at school and everything, and then there's just this difference, right? There's this difference in what happens in your life and what happens in their lives. So it's very important actually not to compare with other people. It's not important not to compare with other people. Compare yourself, compare your journey. And another thing I also want to mention is that choosing a career, building your career is often not a 2 + 2 = 4 kind of thing. Right, it's not a 2 + 2 = 4 kind of thing, and I believe that this is one of the things that makes people frustrated, because we have a system, we have an educational system that depends on 2 + 2 = 4, and I am going to explain what that means. So growing up, we felt that, oh, to get a good job, a good paying job, starting a career and all of that, we just felt that all we needed to do was to go to primary school, then go to secondary school, then have at least 5 credits in including maths and English, then go to the university and finish with a good grade. It's always like we grew up in that system, and a lot of us are still in that system, where you just feel like, once I am able to do this, and I am able to do this, and I am able to do this, then I should be able to get this. So it's like, that's what I mean by 2 + 2 = 4. But it doesn't work like that in real life. In the real life, it's usually like a combination of factors. So it's like, okay, so I need to know all the things that I need to do to increase my chances, to give me large chances, to give me concrete chances of actually landing my preferred job or starting my preferred career. I can't see your comments anymore, so please, if you can see my comments, please let me know. So let me know. Okay, I can see your comments. All right, thank you. I don't know why it's not giving me live, so I don't want to miss anybody's question. So if you have any questions, make sure you just copy them somewhere or screenshot them so that you don't forget when I start to, or write them. So when I start to ask questions, right? So it's always like that. It's like we think that once we have 2 + 2, then you're going to get 4. So you have a very unique career path. It's important to understand that so that you don't compare with other people, right? And okay, sorry, I digressed a bit. So I was talking about ensuring or thinking about the fact that it's often not a 2 + 2 kind of thing. It's not an addition kind of thing. It's more of do this, and this is one of the reasons why sometimes you just see that people say they are applying for jobs and they're not getting the jobs they're applying for. Now, I'm not saying you will get all the jobs you apply for. I'm not saying that. In fact, you will not get, you will not get all the jobs you apply for. You will get a lot of rejections. And, the more jobs you apply for, the higher your chances of getting a feedback or getting called for an interview. So, no, I am not saying that you should not apply for jobs and all of that. But I've realized that for a lot of people, you just find out that so you just find out that they just believe that once I can do my cover letter and then I can write my CV, then I should get a job. And then the job is not coming. They're not seeing the job. So you just find out that a lot of people just feel like getting your CV done, okay, getting your cover letter. I'm not undermining the fact. I feel like having a very good CV goes a long way. But what are the processes that you have to go through from it, before you compile your CV and then you send to companies that you need to apply to? What are the processes that, make your CV worthwhile? Because your CV, okay, I'm going to pause on that thought. Right, I'm going to pause on that thought because I need to see your message, your chat. Yeah, so okay, awesome. Okay, yes. So that's one of the problems. So you need to see it as there are different things that I need to open my mind to. There are different areas, there are different energies, there are just different places that I need to open my mind to. And if I don't open my mind to the opportunities I might have, opportunities for growth and whatever it is, if I don't prepare myself for all of those things, I may be missing some part of the step. And I may just be thinking that as long as I have CV and as long as I have cover letter and as long as I send it to a company, as long as I can send it to a company, then it means that I am good to go. So no, there's a whole lot that you will need to find out. So I'm coming. 1 minute, sorry, 1 second. All right, so now I want to quickly talk about some of the challenges that I know that a lot of us face, a lot of young people face when they are starting their careers. Yes, some of the challenges that you face that I can picture that you face. 1 minute, please. The problem now is I can't see your live chats. Like, okay, thank you. Okay, I know you guys can hear me. Like, I actually know you guys can hear me, and then yes, I know you guys can hear me. So I'm going to talk about some of the obstacles that people often face, some of the hindrances that people often face. Yes, you might not face these things and then you may still have problems, but these are like some of the major problems that people actually face from my experience so far. And the first one that I'm going to talk about, yes, is not being aware of yourself. And that's why we had to take the first session. We had to take the first session on self-awareness. So when people are not aware of themselves, it means that they reduce their chances of finding where they can suit in perfectly, because they don't know what they can work on. They don't know where they can succeed. They don't know where they can excel. Like, they don't know what makes them better. They don't know where their strengths lie. So you have people who might likely not be looking at starting their careers in a place of their strengths, but in a place where they just believe, oh, I should just be here. Right, so a lot of times that's one of the problems that people have, not being aware of yourself. And if you took the test that we did, if you took the test that I sent you in the lesson 1 handout, there's a path for career paths, right? And then it allows you to know the kinds of opportunities that you can take. Yeah, it just gives you an insight into who you are. It gives you an insight into what you likely should be doing. And I'm not saying it necessarily means, oh, these are the only places that you can function in. I'm just saying that a lot of times, really, these are right. A lot of times they give you pointers, right? So you need to learn how to see life in pointers, because you may not always have the entire blueprint of your life where you say, oh, so my name is Orifunke Lawal, then I know every single thing I'm supposed to be doing with my life. No, you can't know that. So it means you cannot know the entire blueprint of your career. You can't know the entire blueprint of your career path. So you need to be open to taking pointers, like taking pointers from different opportunities that you see, different tests that you can take. So it just gives you a level of self-awareness. It gives you a level of self-awareness, so you are able to tell, these are the strengths that are available to me, and these are the opportunities, these are my weaknesses, and these are my threats. So I know that we already talked about that. For instance, we talked about it earlier, and then I'm not going to dwell too much on that, but I'm just going to speak about a couple of things. And then I can see that you guys can see me. Can you guys hear me clearly? Can you guys hear me clearly? Okay. So right, so now you are thinking about, okay, so what are my strengths, and then what are my weaknesses, what are my opportunities, and what are my threats? And especially in terms of weaknesses, right? And sometimes the weaknesses you have, please listen to this, sometimes the weaknesses you have are not just pointers about the kinds of jobs that you cannot take. Because I know you're coming from a point where you say, okay, so because these are my strengths, then it means that these are the places where I can function well, right? But a lot of times, the weaknesses that you have are not just pointers about the kinds of jobs that you cannot take. They can be pointers about some of the problems or some of the challenges that you may have getting jobs or starting a career path. I'm going to be using, getting a job, because now you're starting and then it's the entry into your career path. So sometimes the weaknesses that you have are not, necessarily Hi guys, I wait off for a second. Okay. All right. So sometimes, a lot of times, your weaknesses are pointers to some of the obstacles that you may be facing. For instance, your weakness may be that you do not know how to write correct English. Now, I'm not going to shade anybody, because I know that this is like a challenge and all of that. So your weakness sometimes may be that you don't know how to write correct English, right? And so when a recruiter sees your cover letter, they say, I'm not sure we can handle this. Like, I'm not sure we want to hire this person. I'm not sure we want to have this person on our team, because they don't know how to write good English or good grammar. Sometimes your weakness could be that you don't know how to articulate yourself. So when you see opportunities and you go for interviews, you don't know how to speak very well, right? And then when you don't know how to speak, it can communicate to your people who want to hire you, your recruiters. You can just communicate to them that, oh, for somebody who doesn't know how to speak, somebody who is not articulate, then maybe we do not want this person on our team, right? Sometimes, even back to writing, you may not know, you may say stuff like, oh, I don't know how to write. And it could be an hindrance when you are trying to apply for scholarship opportunities, or or for job opportunities, or internship opportunities, or whatever kind of opportunities. So it's not just in terms of, oh, what are the things I don't know how to do? Oh, then okay, I don't know how to do these things, and then it means that I cannot have a career in this. Oh, I'm not a social person. I'm not a social person. Then it means that I can't have a career in sales or marketing. I don't like to talk to people that much, so it means I can't have a career in customer service. It's not always as it's not always 2 plus 2 like that. It could be that, oh, you have weaknesses in terms of the things you do not know how to do, things you do not even know, and as a result, these things are affecting you from starting a profitable career. Are we together? Please, does this make sense so far? I want to be sure that this makes a lot of sense. I want to be sure that this makes a lot of sense. Yes. Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, yes, yes, okay. So now you have to be extremely open-minded. So in the same vein, your strengths, this kind of strengths you have, are not exactly, they're not just the kinds of jobs, they're not equal to the kinds of jobs that you can do, right? They can be pointers to some of the things that you can call supporting skills when you are trying to start a career or get a job in a career line. Please, I want to know if you got that. I want to know if that is really clear, and then that is so easy to understand. So sometimes that might be, that's super important for you to realize. So what your strengths are not just what you can do. They can be supporting pointers to what I mean, supporting pointers for what you can do, or the opportunities that arise or that are available for you. For instance, if you know how to design, it might not necessarily be that you will start a career in design, right? It might be that you can design something like your portfolio yourself, and then it gives you better chances when you're applying for jobs or gigs. Can you, I mean, does that make sense to you at all? Let's assume that you know how to do videos very well. It's a strength. Now, I saw something on Twitter like 2 weeks ago or thereabouts, and then they were opening job opportunities for a certain kind of role, and then people were sending their CVs as usual, and then this girl she did a video talking about what she had achieved, her work experience so far. So it was basically a CV on video. Now I'm so sure that what she was trying to apply for likely did not have to do anything with the video, but because she had good speaking skills, she had good video skills, she was able to use that strength, right, to apply for the kind of job that she wanted to apply for. I don't know if that's clear for you. Was able to use that strength to apply for the kind of job that she wanted to. So sometimes your strength is not that, oh, these are my strengths. My strength is talking. Then it means I must be a TV presenter. My strength is dancing. Then it means I must look for a dancing school. My strength is whatever. Then it means I must do this. In the same vein, your weaknesses do not necessarily mean the things you should stay away from. There could be pointers to obstacles that you might be facing in your job process, or in your career growth process. I hope that is not too much to take in. So one of the injustices that people have is they do not effectively break down their self-awareness, like their SWOT, their interest, and all of that. So you need to be able to know what your strengths are, what are the things that you can do, and how do they point to the kind of opportunities that you might be interested in. You want to know your weaknesses, you want to know the kind of opportunities, you want to know your threats. We talked about this earlier. So now another problem, I believe we'll come back to this, but I just want to go through the problems that people often face. So another problem that people often have is that they do not decide the kind of, in terms of monetary reward. Now they do not decide the kind of jobs that they want. Like, they do not sit down and decide the kinds of jobs that they want. And you have, a lot of times you have high paying jobs, and you have low paying jobs, and you have medium paying jobs. And I understand that in a country like Nigeria, for instance, it's not always straightforward. I mean, there are a lot of challenges that the average graduate faces. That's absolutely fine, right? Oh my God, please give me a minute. So that is absolutely, absolutely fine. And All right, guys. Hi, everyone. Are you guys here? So I'm sorry for the I'm sorry for the break. I had to just fix in my ring light, my lighting. So let me see if you guys can hear me now. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Similoluwa. Thank you. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we are here. Thank you very much. Yeah, my ring light is, or my lighting. Yeah, it's perfectly fine now. So yeah, so where I was saying that many people do not decide the kind of opportunities that they want. They don't decide the kind of opportunities that they want, and in terms of monetary reward. And do you know that what you want in terms of monetary reward is oftentimes going to define the kind of opportunities that you are going to look for, the kind of opportunities that you are going to look for, the kind of what's it called, the kind of companies that you are going to apply to. So we normally have high paying jobs, low paying jobs, and medium paying jobs. Like, so I'm just going to talk in terms of high paying jobs and low paying jobs. And many times, right, it's always like there's a sort of mismatch, or yes, a sort of mismanagement of ideas or expectations. So it's either you have people who feel like money is important to them, they want to build wealth. I mean, of course everybody should build wealth, but they feel like, oh, money is really important to them, and then they need opportunities. They need opportunities to make money. So it's either you have people like that, and you find out that they are applying, or they are not considering the kind of field that they are in. So they are applying for jobs that are not that do not match the expectations that they have. And like I mentioned earlier, I know that the Nigeria situation is very, very crazy. If you're in Nigeria, I mean, if you're out of Nigeria, it's likely not as crazy as it is right here. It's likely not as crazy as it is right here. But you just find out that we have people, that you want a high paying job, but you've not sat down to sit down and ask yourself, this field that I am currently in, is it a high paying field? Is it a high paying field? Because the truth is, not all fields are high paying. Like, and it's not a cost. It's not a cost at all. Not all fields are high paying. Some fields are not high paying. Some fields are low paying. So if you care very much about money, about a lot of money, and you find out that you are in a particular field that is a low paying field, what it means is that you are going to think you like the field where you are, but you are going to be frustrated. Does this make sense to anybody? Is this relatable to anybody here? You're going to be frustrated because you're going to feel like, I want to make more money, but you've not sat down to say, this field that I am in, is it, or this field that I'm trying to launch into, is it a high paying field? Another problem that a lot of people have is that they want high paying fields. I mean, they want high paying jobs, but they're not thinking about the fact that they also need to get high paying skills. There are high paying skills, right? And there are low paying skills as well. And if you have a high paying job, if you have a high paying skill, it increases your chances of having a high paying job. So if you're the kind of person who thinks, I am really keen about having a high paying skill or a high paying job, then one of the questions you want to be asking is, what high paying skills do I need to get for this high paying job? So you don't have a mismatch of expectations where what you're eventually getting is different from what you expect. Please, is this very clear? Is this very clear for you? Somebody says she cannot see or hear me. Okay, thank you very much. Please keep the comments coming. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you guys, thank you. Right, so you have that problem, right? So not knowing the kind of jobs that you want in terms of monetary reward, right? Because but you just find out that because you do not have an idea of what you want, you are misapplying, because there's such a thing as misapplying. You are misapplying to the wrong jobs. You are misapplying to the wrong opportunities. You're just misapplying simply because you do not have an idea of exactly what you want, right? So another obstacle that I know that a lot of people face is lack of a learning skill. It was like last year that it dawned on me. It don't not lack of learning skill, learning. It was about last year that it dawned on me that learning in itself is a skill. You know, we know regularly that, oh, you need to learn a skill, right? You learn skills, whatever kind of skill that you want to learn, hard skills, soft skills, whatever kind of skills, you learn a skill. Now, it was last year that it dawned on me that learning it in itself, the act of learning, right, the act of learning is a skill in itself. And that's why people have issues with personally developing themselves, because you cannot, it's always a struggle to get somebody to learn something when they do not have the skill of learning. So I found out that that's one of the problems that people have. Like, people do not know how to learn. And when you see people who do not know how to learn, even if you give them resources, if you give them resources, you tell them, oh, I want you to read this, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, because they don't know how to learn, right? They'll just expect that everything is handed over to them on a platter of gold. Like, just everything you need to do, just give me. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to go to school. Send me to school. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to take this course. Oh yeah, buy this course for me. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to read this book. Okay, send me this book. Right? And then it's a problem, because when you're choosing your career, when you're trying to get into a career, when you're trying to change your career, a high part of what you are doing or getting in that field would require immense learning. Whatever area that you want to launch into would require so much learning, like intense learning. Because think about where you are. One thing I really love is think about where you currently are, where you feel like, yeah, whether you feel like, oh, you like where you are, you don't like where you are. Now think about where you're coming from, right? Now, the difference between where you currently are and where you're going to, or where you will be, is usually knowledge. And that knowledge can only be gotten by learning. So learning is a skill. Like, it's a skill that a lot of people do not have. A lot of young people do not have, right? So you have people that they're not growing, right? Even though they have all the opportunities to grow. So that's one of the obstacles that people have, because you would need to stretch yourself heavily. Like, you will need to stretch yourself heavily. So another problem that people have is lack of application skills, right? So it's one thing to learn, it's one thing to have a skill. It's one thing to be able to learn, it's one thing to actually learn stuff, but it's another thing to be able to apply. And this is also one of the things I have learned. This is one of the things I recently learned, interestingly, and it's that many times we don't want to read certain kinds of books or attend certain kinds of seminars or conferences, because we feel like, I've heard this thing before, I already know this thing, I've thought about this, I've already read books on it, I've taken courses on it, this thing, it is okay for me, right? But now the question is, do you know it or not? Because obviously you say you know it, right? But the proof of knowledge is in the application. The proof of knowledge is in the doing. If somebody tells me that they know how to grow an Instagram page, for instance, from 0 to 100 in 1 week, the question I want to ask them is, have you ever grown an Instagram page from 0 to 100 in 1 week? Are we together? That's the question that I am likely going to That's the question that I am likely going to ask. So it's not a question of, is this something that I have heard before? Is this something that I have learned? Because if you keep approaching things from the angle of, and this is something I actually had to unlearn myself, like I was the kind of person, when I feel like, oh, this is something I've learned before, this is something I've heard before, I just shut my mind that I don't need this. I mean, it's so cliche. How many of us know Salem King? He did a video recently about cliche stuff. I don't think this is so cliche. I learned it, but I had to now start sitting down. I had to start thinking about myself. I had to start saying, oh my God, if I am saying I know this thing and then I don't want to attend, or I don't want to grow or develop my knowledge because it feels like I know it, do I really know it, or do I just think I know it? Do I really know it, or do I just have an idea of it? Because you can think you know something, but what you just do is you just have an idea of what it is. Because if you really know it, it should show in what you do with it, right? It should show in the application. It should show in how you use it. So if you have the habit of saying, oh, that's what they always say in all those conferences, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. The question is, so you know that is what they always say in all those conferences. So you are familiar with what they always say in all those conferences. Have you been able to apply the things, all of the things you've heard in all those conferences into your life? Because if you have not applied, you've not been able to apply those things that you say, oh, it's regular, it's cliche. What it means is that you need to keep attending conferences like that till you get to the point of application, because it means you don't know it. Have you ever sat down to think about why experience is key when you're applying for jobs? Have you ever like sat down to think about it? Why not? So when they say you want to when they say come and apply for this job, they just call you and they say, they don't ask for your CV. They say, just come, everybody come, let's talk to you. Or yeah, sit down. Okay, tell us about yourself. And then you just tell them about yourself, and it's care, and you can listen to nothing. And then say, that's amazing, you have gotten the job. Why do they always ask for CVs? Because CVs are supposed to be a proof that you can do what you say you know. My God. I actually really love people talking, interacting with me when we are talking. So I may just drop down to look at some of the comments that you are sending to me, and then we'll be done actually within the next 30 minutes. Don't worry, we're not taking so long today. We're not taking so much, right? So you're always like, it's the same thing. So that's one of the problems that we have, because it's either people do not know how to learn, or people know how to learn, but they do not know how to apply. And when you don't know how to apply, it's a problem. It's a problem. So these are some of the injustices that people have. So I'm just going to take you through some steps that have helped some of the people that I know, that I have taught before, and that have helped me, that have helped me grow, and that have helped me so far. Okay. If you have any questions, just make sure you drop them, so I can miss some messages. All right, so now number one, we're talking about how to choose your career, how to choose a career. And then I'm not going to emphasize this again, but there's an analysis of self. That's your self-awareness. We've talked about that. That's the first level. Yes, that's the first level. And that's the first level you need to know, right? Your interests. What are you interested in? What are your inclinations? What draws you in? What skills do you have? All of those things. You need to be able to sit down and list all of those things out. You need to be able to sit down and list all of those things out. And okay, so there's something else I'm also going to mention, but you need to be able to sit down and list all of those things out. And then the next stage you need to go through is to consider the opportunities that you have. You need to analyze the kind of opportunities that you are looking for, right? The kind of opportunities that you are looking for. You need to be able to sit down and analyze them. And then what you will find out when you analyze opportunities like that is that you might have like 2 to 3 different kinds, or not even 2 to 3, let's say like 4 to 5 different kinds of career paths that you are interested in, because you feel, okay, so I have small experience here. At some point when we had one strike in school, I was able to I was able to do, I was able to do a 1 month internship somewhere. That counts as an experience, right? So you want to analyze the opportunities that you have, right? And then the next thing you want to do is to think in resources. Yes, you need to think in resources. One of the problems, please don't worry, I'm going to take your questions. Please, I'm going to take your questions, right? I'm going to take your questions. So one of the problems that people have is that now a person says that, oh, I need a job. And that's just it. I need a job. And the only thing is that they do is that they just mention it once, or they don't even talk about it at all. So you don't even know if they need a job or not, or they are not applying, or they are not well equipped for the kinds of jobs that they are applying for, or at least reasonably equipped for the kind of jobs that they are applying for. So you need to think in resources, the resources that you have. So let's assume that you are interested in a field, like, what field should I use? Let's assume you're interested in a field. I don't use digital marketing because I use that a lot in my okay. Right. Okay. So now let's assume you're interested in, okay, let me say marketing, right? You're interested in marketing. You've decided that, okay, so this is a field that I would like to build a career in. I know I am, okay, maybe you're not so sure, but at least I have an idea that this is a field that I want to build a career in. So you want to think in resources. You do not just want to think in terms of where can I send my CV to. You want to think in resources. You want to ask yourself, okay, so what can I find right now that can help me with respect to, or that can increase my chances. Let me use that word, because I like to use increased chances, but that can increase my chances in landing an opportunity in this field. So under thinking resources, so you may want to think about, so what are the kind of books that I need to read? Some of you don't like reading, so I'm not going to talk about that. Whether you like reading or not, it's important to find your learning strength, right? So whether it's a video you need to take or you need to watch or something, but I do books, and that's why I have books here. All right, so you want to find out what are the kinds of books that I want to read to know more about this thing, because the thing is, when you're getting into a field, whether you're starting afresh or you've been in the career world for a while and then you want to switch, one of the important things that you need, the most important thing, is to have an idea of what the field is about. And when I mean an idea, I'm not just talking about, oh, marketing. They say, what do they do in marketing? Oh, marketing, they just sell. No, I'm talking about what are the books that are available with regard to this field. What are the courses? Yes, you can take courses. You have LinkedIn courses. You have Udemy. You have a lot of free courses. You have a lot of free courses that you can take if you cannot afford to pay for courses. When I just remembered a case that happened yesterday, but I don't want to talk about that right now. Right, so you want to find out, like, your goal is, how can I know a lot? How can I know enough about, or at least moderately enough about this field? Because if you tell me that you are interested in a particular field, and then I have to interview you, and I find out that you don't have experience, you don't have knowledge, it's only idea that you have, I must send you out. Okay, no, I won't send you out. Like, I'm not a wicked person, but I mean, the chances are going to be slim, because what are you doing here? Oh, my goodness. Right, so you want to ask, what are the resources currently available to me that can give me a awesome, a reasonable amount of knowledge in this field? Books, is it books? Is it, am I looking at courses? Another thing you need to consider is events. Events. So one thing that I do is that if there's anything that I need to learn, there's anything that I feel like there's something I need to learn, there's a topic I need to learn on. See, everywhere I see that they are doing webinar or something, I am going to apply. No, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to attend. Like, even if they're telling me the same thing I know, once I am interested in a particular topic, if I say somebody says they are organizing one small something, I will go. If somebody says it's Instagram live, I will show up. It says it's Facebook. That's where it's happening. I'm going to show up. So you need to think about events. You need to think about events, right? Like, and online events and offline events. So you might ask yourself, okay, so how can I don't know what kind of events that I can apply, like, can attend online or offline, or let's say you live in one remote area in Nigeria where where nothing happens. Oh my God, right, when nothing happens, and then you want to say, okay, what can I do? You can actually use eventbrite.com. Like, if you just Google it, and then you can do Eventbrite Lagos, Eventbrite Port Harcourt, Eventbrite Oshobo, Eventbrite Ghana. And then what Eventbrite will do is show you events that are happening in a location at a particular time, sometimes even months ahead. Right, sometimes even months ahead. So you are able to plan, right? Eventbrite is something that you should do, and because we have COVID. No, we don't have COVID. No, I don't have COVID, but because we are in a pandemic. Because we are in a yeah, some of you have it, some of us actually, all of us have a long way to go. All of us have a long way to go. So we're in a pandemic now, so a lot of events are moving online, right? A lot of events, huge events, and people are actually finding events online. So if you're interested in a particular field, you want to search on Google Eventbrite marketing Lagos or Eventbrite marketing Nigeria. So it gives you a list of events that are happening within a period, so that you can attend. Right, so that you can attend. I'm trying to look at your messages. Yes. Okay, thank you. So that you can attend all of those things, whether it's physical, whether it is virtual. For some of them, you will have to pay. Yes, but the spirit of paying for stuff is, we're not going to talk about that today, but for some of them you will have to pay, but a lot of them are going to be free. And when you just attend these events, they expand your mindset. You just have an idea, you have an in-depth idea. With each passing event, you have an in-depth idea of the things that apply in those industries. Sometimes if it's an industry that you've never been in before, a lot of times when you're just starting, some things will not make sense. They are not going to make sense. They might be complex, they might be ununderstandable, they are not going to make sense, right? But at least you with more. Yes, Eventbrite, yes. You just search on Google, you'll find Eventbrite on Google. Yes, so but with more the more you actually listen to people talk about this field, topics in this field, yes, then the more you understand. Are we together? And then you would actually understand why I'm talking about this, attending events later. Now, the next thing you want to think about is thinking in terms of people. You want to think in terms of people. So, who do I have right now? Who do I need? And who can I meet? Who can I meet that has what I need? I don't know if you got that. Now you're thinking in terms of people. Now you're asking yourself, who do I currently have in my circle? If you don't know who you have in your circle, find time tomorrow. Find time and go through your contact list. Find time and go through your contact list, and then I'm not saying send them messages, but just do a people audit of the people in your inner circle, like people that you can easily reach, at least with one WhatsApp message or with one call. So who do I have? And then you want to find out, who do I need, right? So because who you have may not necessarily be who you need, and so you want to be able to map who you need, like the kind of person you need for a career growth, with respect to the kind of person you have or the people that you have. So now, who do I need if I want to start a career in marketing? Let's say I need somebody who is already in marketing. Sometimes you don't need 10 people already in a field before you know that I have arrived. Sometimes you may only need one person that you can ask questions. Sometimes you may only need one person that knows one person, because sometimes your inner circle may not necessarily be that wide. So you may need to look at somebody that, okay, I know this person is possibly is a high networked person. So at least I know if I meet this person will be able to connect me with this, to provide me with further information and resources that I need. And even when you know this person, because a lot of times they are going to mostly be more experienced than you are, so you find out that the approach that you have towards them also matters. Oh my God, I just keep remembering this thing, but so how you approach them matters, because honestly, people mostly, I don't want to use absolutes, but people mostly do not owe you anything. You are the one who needs this thing. Yes, you're the one who needs to start your career. You're the one who needs to change your career. So people don't know you. So not they know you, but they don't owe you. So now you need to look at, how can I actually reach out to this person in my circle? Now they know me, because they're just one WhatsApp message away, or they're just one call away. So how you approach people to talk about the things that you want to learn from them, or the opportunities that you think you want them to give you, how you approach them also matters. A lot of graduates that I know, a whole lot of graduates do not know how to approach people. They don't. You say, oh, that person, she's a marketing expert. I want to do marketing, and then you're just sending them I'm not saying you should not send them a DM anyway, but so Meki, sorry, I can't pronounce that, and Leica, yes, says you can also listen to interviews as well. Yes, that's brilliant. That's very brilliant. That's very brilliant. Yes, thank you that's actually very brilliant. So how you approach them matters a lot, and I'm going to give an instance, right? So it is a lot easier for me to, let me say for me. I'm not saying that but I'm going to say for me to respond to somebody who reaches out to me and says, Orifunke, I am looking at starting a career in the marketing industry, and I have so far I've taken like 2 marketing courses on Udemy. I've read like 3 marketing books. I've taken 1 marketing exam, and then I don't know where to go from here. That somebody who just sends me a message and says, Orifunke, I'm looking for marketing. I'm marketing industry. Like, I tell them what course yesterday. They said that marketing, wow. And that's where the money is. So, like, which one do you think you'll likely respond more? I'm going to respond to the first person better, because see, there's this particular principle that I believe the world often works on or works with, right? And it's in the Bible. I'm sorry for those of you who are not believers, like I'm a Christian, so a lot of my motivations come from the Bible, and then I'm just going to mention a story. So now you can see that in the parable of the talents, you had the master gave him 5 talents, gave the second person 4 talents, and gave the final person 1 talent. And then he went on a vacation. Maybe it's vacation he went to, maybe it's vacation he went to. I don't know. But Isha went, right? He went to Bali. He went to Bali to just, and then the first person decided, okay, so what do I need to do? What do I need to do with these 5 talents that I've been given? And then he went ahead to work with it, invest it, and then he expanded it, and then he had 5 extra talents, right? And then the next person, like the one that had 4 talents, said, okay, what do I do? Okay, I'm going to invest it. I want to expand the capacity of this. And then he got 4 extra talents, right? And so the first one had 10 talents, and the second one had 8 talents. Now the last one that had 1 talent said, it's like, this my boss, he has seen the person that we use. If we use and die, it's like I have seen that person. Me, I'm in Najegule, Lagos, and then you are going to Bali. Because me, I cannot go to Bali, Abi. Good. But it's where you will see your money. Where you collect your money, that's where you will see it. And then he just kept the talent. And then the man came, right? The man came back and he asked them, okay, so how far with the talents I gave you now? And then the first one said, oh, you gave me 5 talents. I have 5 extra. Then he gave him. The second one said, oh, you gave me 4 talents. I have 4 extra. Gave him. Last one said, I know that you like creeping where you do not sow. Like, you're a very toxic boss. You are a manipulative boss. I don't like you, so your money is there. So, and then what did the boss say? It took the 1 talent that he had given to that guy, and then he gave it to the person who had 10 talents. Now, have you ever sat down to imagine why he did not give that talent to the person who had 8 talents? Because if he had given the person who had 8 talents, the person would have had 9 talents. But the person who had 10 talents already is not giving him 1 extra. That doesn't look like it's fair. Think about it. Does it seem fair? Why not just take that talent and give the person who took second position, so that I can give him a step? But he gave it to the person who had the most talents. And that passage always teaches me. That passage always teaches me that, the more you have, the likelier you are to get more. Do you guys get me? The more you have, the likelier you are to get more. Think about it in terms of anything. Have you ever wondered why people give rich people money? Or what am I even saying? Banks, you go to a bank and say, I need a loan to start my business. They will be taking you through 1 million KYCs, and they'll still not give you the money. But a rich man will come and say, how much do they even collect? I say, I want 100 million naira. And they'll give the bank. They'll give the man. Have you ever wondered why things like that happen? Because when you have, it's a lot of, sorry. One minute, please. Okay, so philanthropist is saying that he's not following my story. First of all, my name is Orifunke, not Orifunke, and then it's not taking you into consideration. And then I remember I mentioned earlier, and I did an apology to non-Christians. So I think I'm just going to be removing you from the class now. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. All right, so now, have you ever wondered why people are likely to give somebody who has more? People are, if you have more knowledge, people are likely to want to give you more, right? If you have money, people are likely to want to give you more. So it's more like, okay, people who get richer get richer, people who are poor get poorer. And it's not just in terms of money, it's in terms of information, it's in terms of opportunities. It's in terms of opportunities, it's in terms of network. So when you say, okay, you're investing in yourself, in the kind of books that you're reading, in the kinds of what's it called, courses that you are enrolling for, the kind of events that you are saying, what you are basically doing is that you are building yourself to have more, so that when you are reaching somebody else that can, sort of give you an exponential power, there's something they can build on. Please, does this make sense up to this point at all? Does this make sense up to this point? Does it make sense up to this point? Okay. Yeah. So it's like, oh, this person actually has something already. And okay, I can actually say, okay, I want to connect you with somebody, and then I want to give you my network, or I want to give you more courses, or more books to read, or whatever it is, simply because there's something else, like you've been building as well. It's easy for me to bring in my energy, right? And then it's also why a lot of times it is, I'm good, like, I just want you to start picking instances from different places and start applying it in terms of knowledge. So it's also why a lot of times people would rather invest in a business that has been available for a while than in a business that's just about to start. Because when a business has been available for a while, you have a track record. If you say, okay, we earn 500,000 naira every year, there's a track record. There's a track record that you have. There's a track record that you have that sort of lets them know that I'm not putting my money into an empty can. I'm putting it into I'm putting it into a fertile ground that can grow. But if you don't have anything, and then you go and meet the person and say, I just want to start a business. I want to start a food business. I want to start a textile business. The risks are higher, because I don't know if you would actually give me profitable returns. I don't know if you will succeed. I don't know if you're even serious about it. Does that make sense? So you need to think in terms of the people that you have, and you need to, you've already said giving yourself enough knowledge. So when you're approaching these people, you're not just approaching from the point of a victim, where, please help me, I don't know anything, I don't know. You're approaching from the standpoint of a person who actually has value. It is a lot easier to get help that way. So, okay, I can see that people are actually following. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. All right, so now the next thing you want to also think about is think in terms of communities. Think in terms of communities. So you're interested in something, what kind of communities can you join, right? That you feel like, at least let me just be among these people. Because a lot of times, some of the opportunities, in fact, most of the opportunities you get are going to be from communities that you are active in, where they can see you, this person is this, this person has been here for a while. And then this actually works a lot for people who are trying to switch careers. It works a lot for people who are trying to switch careers. Okay, awesome. So you want to think in terms of communities. So what communities exist? What communities exist that are related to what I am interested in, the career I am interested in? Where can I find these communities? You can go on Facebook. There are Facebook groups. Like, just search for a keyword and you will likely find enough communities that you can join. You can go on LinkedIn. There are so many communities. If you have a friend, or you can even ask on your WhatsApp status, I need a community around marketing. Please, I need people to. Like, I'm always asking people, are there communities I can join? If you have any communities, please add me, because you don't know everything. You can never actually know every single thing that exists. right? So that's another thing you want to think about. Think in terms of communities, and be clear on the kinds of communities that you want to join, because a lot of times how much you get from a community is dependent on how much you give to the community. Are we together? Please let me know if you got that. How much you get from a community is dependent on, thank you so much, thank you so much. It's dependent on how much you give to the community. So you have people who join communities and be like, this community is not helping me. Oh. It's not helping me. Oh. They are not doing anything. We're just there. I've just been there from like how many months ago. Nothing's happening. This community is really not helping me. Right? You have, but when you ask them that, what have you given to this community? You'll find out that they've not given anything. They've not given their knowledge. They've not given their presence. They are not visible. They don't show up. Nobody knows them in the community. So I don't understand. Are the people in the community, are they witches and wizards that should just know you by your number? They'll just know you by your phone number. I say, oh my God, there's this girl. If I check the group info, she's on number 192. I think she should be able to do this. No. So you can't demand from people and communities what you are not giving them first. Right? And especially in last lesson, you need to be the kind of person who gives and gives and gives and gives, because that's how you get more come back to you. You can't just be in a community and you're not contributing, and then you're not contributing this. You know, some people feel like, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Like, what do I know? I just got into this field last year. I don't know. But honestly, you do not need to have been in a particular field for 5 years before you share what you know about it. You don't need to have done something for 10 years before you feel like you're in a position to share something about it. What you know for this level is relevant for somebody else who has not gotten to your level. Even if it's just 1 month you've been on that level, there's valid experience. So you need to treasure the experiences that you have. You treasure the experiences that you have, no matter how insignificant they feel to you, and be willing to share them, because this is how you build communities. Right? So communities may not necessarily be online. Communities may also have to do with your religious organizations. If you sense that you belong to, let's assume, like a church where they have setups for different fields, different niches, it will do you good to actually join a community, because as a community, it will do you good to join a community like that and be active. Because you might feel like, oh, this online something does not work for me, or it doesn't work for me. I don't think we can work with this, right? It can be like that. You might feel like that, but so you want to start thinking about the opportunities that exist for you, even in your physical environment. So you can think about your religious institutions. You can think about you can think about your school, if you have schools, if you're still in school. You can think about your alumni groups. You know, there are some people that immediately you finished school, I'm not saying it's a must though, but immediately you finish school like this, you just told yourself everything that will connect me with this school, may I never see it again. So every kind of community that you joined, every group, every class group and everything, you just left everything. Next thing I just seen is Tony left. Everything, you're saying this school, nothing. No, I'm not saying you are obligated to stay in groups like that, but you just find out that the higher you grow in your career and the higher those people grow in their career, it makes it easy for you to be able to relate with these people and get help when you need, or give help when they need. Right? Especially if you're the kind of person that knows to check up on people, the only avenue you have to get in touch with people is in these groups. I mean, it's if you're in these shoes, let me. Okay, Anika says that she is a living witness to that. Yes. So you just like, I don't want to do anything, but you not come back after 5 years or after 10 years and you're like, I don't have a community, when you've already thrown away all your communities. How do you have a community? Okay, yeah, so you need to think in terms of communities, online communities, physical communities. Sometimes you may not find the kind of community that that you need or that you want, and honestly, you can start the kind of community that you need. A community does not have to be 200 people. Sure, you know. It only has to be 500 people. They have 1,000 members in that community. No, a community can be like 3 to 5 people. Finish. So you can start your community, or you can co-found a community. You reach out to somebody you feel has the same values as you do. They have the same energy. They want to achieve the same things. I reach out to them. That, what do you think about? So let's just start this thing. And okay, we would have Zoom calls once a month, or if we live in the same area, we just have meetings once in 2 months, right? So you don't know if you have seen that, oh man, you cannot find any community that serves you very well. You can actually start a community that you need. If you feel like, oh, I don't think I can start a community, a lot of people they feel like if I want to start a community, it has to be very big. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to serve a purpose, right? Another thing you need to think about is think in terms of companies, right? Think in terms of companies. After you've decided the opportunities, the kind of job opportunities that you're looking for, or where you want to start a career, you want to think in terms of opportunities. In terms of companies. So I want to start a career in finance. What are the finance companies in Nigeria? That's if I'm saying Nigeria. I'm saying Nigeria because a lot of, most of the people here are Nigerians. We are almost done. Most of the people here are Nigerians. So now, what are the finance companies that exist in Nigeria? I can decide to go on Google and type top finance companies in Nigeria, and I see all the finance companies. I'm coming back to one final word, right? And you see all the final finance companies, and then you want to do an in-depth research about them. Look at, maybe select like 50 and decide that every single day I want to find out about 10. In 1 week, you'll be done with 50 companies. Do you know? You'll be done in 50 finance companies. So you want to find and do research about them, find out more about them, their websites. What are the websites that they have? What information is on their website? Because these days, almost everything that you need will be on a website. What are the things that, what are the services that they offer? What are the products that they sell? I mean, who are the people on their board? Another way, if you don't want to do a Google search, or you feel like a Google search is not, it's not giving you enough results like you want, you also want to think about going on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a gold mine. Please, how many of you are on LinkedIn here? If you're on LinkedIn, please drop a comment. You're on LinkedIn, because there are some people, and the only thing you do, in fact, you're on LinkedIn. Let me see how many of you are on LinkedIn. Yes, you're right, oh man. Smaller communities are cool. You know who you're dealing with. Yes, you know you're dealing with people who have your time. Yes, I agree with that, oh man. Okay, okay, awesome. So now you can just search for keywords on LinkedIn, finance or financial institutions, and then it will give you different financial institutions. That's if you want to start it. What am I taking? This is supposed to be Manual Faith session, but okay, let me use marketing. We also have somebody coming from marketing, but let me use marketing anyway. So I want to ask myself, okay, so what are the top marketing companies? Let me use finance companies on LinkedIn. Now I'm going to start looking at those, each of those finance companies. I can take one. Somebody mentioned PwC. So I can look at PwC and say, oh, okay, I want to find out the people who work at PwC. Please, are you guys following me? So one thing that you can do is to go to the company's page. And when you go to the company's page, you want to look through you want to find employees, you will typically see 500 people work here, 473 work here, and then LinkedIn will often tell you 80 among them are from your alma mater. 80 among them also attended OAU. Right, so now that's one way to send people that may not it's not a must, but that may be more responsive to you. Right, so now you have seen that there are 80 people out of 500 or 1,000 people who attended your school, who work there. So it narrows down your search a lot, because now you're not just going to look for general people, you are narrowing it down a lot, and then you're going to click on it, and then it's going to show you the people who attended your school, right? Who attended your university, your polytechnic, your tertiary institution, and then by that way, you can now start looking through their starting a career is work. If you thought it was just about getting a job or going to church to pray, I am sorry to shock you. Starting a career is a lot of work. It's a lot of intentional work. Like, you actually need to be able to sit down and say, I actually want to do this work. So now I have people who went to my school. And now imagine that it's not like I'm just reaching them out of the blues. I've studied before, I've read before. I've taken courses, like, and then I just need somebody who is in that system to pull me through. It's easier for me to reach out to somebody, even though I don't know them, but I'm reaching out to them on a common ground, right? And if you've done communications before, you would find out that one of the ways to get people to warm up to you is to find a common ground. Or you see somebody, okay, where are you from? I say, I'm from Ogun State. Oh, I'm from Ogun State too. Where in Ogun State? I'm from Abeokuta. Wow, I'm not from Abeokuta. I'm from Eda, actually. And then that is a common ground. The person is likely to warm up to you. Or you are somewhere abroad, and then you just find somebody just talking on the phone and is speaking in Yoruba in a place that is predominantly white. And I'm like, you're Yoruba from Nigeria. Yes, you're from Nigeria. It's a common ground. So you need to be very quick to recognize common grounds, because common grounds give you leverage, right? It gives you. So when I'm reaching out, somebody, wait, you went to OAU. I went to OAU. So, wait, when did you finish? I finished in 2017. Well, that's amazing. I finished in 2009. Oh, wow, that's a long time. What did you study? I studied geography. Geography. Actually, I have a friend. Like, I actually have a friend who studied geography as well. But I'm not sure you know him. He studied geography. Was in geography. It was in my department. See, look at how common grounds are forming. By the time you finish the conversation, the person feels like they know you to an extent, even though they don't know you so much. But they feel like they know you because there is a common ground. Please, are we together? Are you guys here? So yes, Twitter is another gold mine. Yes, I'm going to come to that. Please, are you guys here? I want to be sure that you guys are here. Yes, so you need to always be quick to recognize common grounds. Like, you just see somebody, I know that person. She looks like somebody that I know when I in school, and then you just let the person go. No. So leverage on common ground. Somebody is somewhere that you want to be, and you have found a common ground. You can seize the opportunity, right? Oh, these are things I've done. These are things I've done. These are things I've learned. I just need better guidance. And sometimes they may not have solutions for you, right? Sometimes they won't. So it's not a 2 + 2 = 4 thing. Sometimes they wouldn't, right? But a lot of times you would make an impression in their minds, which is super important, right? So we talked about books, we talked about courses, we talked about events, we talked about people, we've talked about communities. Yeah, so another thing that you also need to think about is you need to think in experience. Think in experience, right? Because it's not enough for you to to learn something. It's not enough for you to read about something. You actually need hands-on experience to get it done. And so for the courses we run in the academy, that's why usually we always run, it's not just theoretical classes, we have theoretical classes, and then we also get people to practice, because anybody can wake up and say, oh, I know how to do content marketing. Anybody can wake up and say stuff like that, but not many people can say, oh, I actually have experience, these are the things that I have done before. Pardon me, guys. So not everybody can say these are the things that I have done before. So we always prioritize practical experiences that, 1 minute. Yeah, we always prioritize practical experiences. So you want to think in experiences, right? So now, the world is such a funny place. Like it's the job world that is such a funny place. So before you get a job, most of the time you need a significant level of experience, right? And then how can you get experience if if for you to get a job? I mean, you've not done this thing before, and then I need experience. So one of the things you need to consider are internships. You want to consider internships, but the really weird thing is internships are amazing, right? But you know, the weird thing is that most of the time internships also require a level of experience as well. How many of you guys can relate? You've tried getting an internship position before, and then they were asking you send your CV, and you're like, send my CV how? How do I need to? How should I send my CV? How many of you can relate to that? You're like, yeah, people are supposed to be teaching me. I'm supposed to be here to learn, and they ask you to apply. I'm like, so a lot of time, most of the time, you need some level of experience to even get internship opportunities. So it means that what you want to now do is that you want to focus on volunteer opportunities. It's not by, honestly, I'm usually very, very careful about asking people. Let me see. Okay, yes, I'm usually very careful about asking people to take up free jobs. But if you can, find out your cost, the cost of doing what you do, and you feel like, okay, volunteering for something would give you relevant experience in a particular field, or that would give you, something, okay, I've actually done this before, then it's one of the things you should consider. So now you need experience, you need to consider internships. Not every inexperienced person will get internships, because internships are often draining. Internships are usually the company or the organization pouring so much more into you than you will give them, at least in your first how many months, right? So you want to say, okay, so what volunteer opportunities can I look out for in this area? Now, one mistake people often make when it comes to internships or volunteer opportunities is that you feel like you necessarily have to volunteer with a big company, or you feel like a company has to put out, or a brand, let me use a brand, has to put out a, what's it called? A vacancy for an intern before you say, oh, they're applying, they are looking for interns, or they're looking for volunteers, let me apply. No, many of the times you will need to be proactive, right? Do you see a need that this brand has? Do you see a need that this what's it called? This business has? Is there a need? How can you come in? Now you can just come in. Thank God, a lot of things that we actually do are even online, but this might be a bit harder if you have to work offline and physical, and then transportation and everything. That may be, but if it's online, you can reach out to them and be proactive. Hey, do you have somebody who already runs this for you? I have learned stuff about it. Now. Remember that you have already come from a point where you've developed, where you've invested in knowledge. You've invested in theoretical knowledge about yourself. You've. I can see people are actually connecting. I can see people are connecting. Okay, so you've gotten to the point. Yes, there's another thing I need to mention. Okay, so now you've learned before, you've taken courses, you've studied, you've read, right? What you need to do is to move from just knowing to being able to do. So it's easier for you to reach out to an organization or maybe a brand, even if it's a small brand that it's only two person or it's only one person that's running the brand, and then you're meeting them and saying, okay, so I'd like to volunteer to do this thing. I know about what's the word? I know about content creation, I know about marketing, I know about sales, and then I would like to volunteer for free. The person would likely look and say like, you want to volunteer for free? But if it's something that they need, they'll bring you on board. And you know the exciting thing is that when they bring you on board, because it's a volunteer work, it's more like they are giving you a platform, you are giving your resources. So it's a win-win situation. It's a win-win situation. Like, and before you, and at the end of the day, you just find out that you have significant experience. You can say, I did this at this point. Even if you were not paid, you don't need to say you were not paid or anything. You just put it on your CV. From November 2019 to let's say May 2020, I worked as this and this in so and so, and then you list out your achievements or the responsibilities that you have. If they don't give you responsibilities, craft out responsibilities for yourself. You craft out responsibilities for yourself. Well, these are things that I need. These are things that I know how to do. These are the things that I learned how to do. And then you put it in your CV. You have experience already. So honestly, experience should, and I know that experience can be really, really hard because nobody who wants to pay you good money would hire you without experience. This is the truth. Nobody who wants to pay you good money will hire you without experience. I mean, it's going to be a total risk. In fact, it's going to be a foolish business decision for them. They want to pay you money, and then they have to also train you as well. They want to pay you a lot of money, and they want to train you. You don't know anything. You don't have experience. It's not a wise business decision. Yes, also, like I said, that people actually, please, while you're connecting, please don't get lost in what I'm saying, so you don't miss it. But that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. So now that's one of the ways that you get experiences. That's one of the ways you get experience. You gain experience. All right. So when you're just starting, please, you need to think in terms of experience. And remember what I said when we first started, that it's not just about what you know. The proof of knowledge is in application. It is in application. So now the next thing that I am going to talk about is think in visibility. Think in visibility. You know, there's this really popular joke that we often tell ourselves, like, you finish NYSC and then that your uncle that told you in 300 level that when you finish school, send me your CV, and then you send him your CV, and then he says I'll get back to you, and he never gets back to you. How many of us can relate? Or one auntie, let me not say let's say one auntie, don't worry, just finish school. Once you have good grades, you are covered. How many of you can relate? So you need to think in visibility, because a lot of times, right, the problem, the challenge, let me not say problem, but the challenge with people, like, challenge between you and that person is that, number one, it is either you're not visible enough, right? They cannot see you enough, right? It's not you're not visible in terms of, what they can see, or you are not visible in terms of what you can offer. So people, that's visibility. So people think visibility just means, oh, you're always just talking online, you're just everywhere, you're just always posting. No, visibility has to be strategic. It's not just posting everything. You're just posting, I'm just showing up. No, that's not it. Visibility is number one. I want to show up enough for people to see me. I want to show up enough for people to see me. And I want to also show up enough for people to be aware of what I can offer. I want people to be aware of what I can offer. Are we together? Right? Because now I'm going to I already said this story before on my WhatsApp, and then I'm going to say it again. Sometime like some months back, somebody sent me a message on WhatsApp and said, "Oh, her name is this," and she's a member of Lady Reports, and then she just wanted to tell me that there's a particular mistake with regard to the copy on my website, and then she just wanted to let me know because she was a direct response copywriter. I was like, oh, okay. I just said thank you. I didn't even save her number. I did not know her name. I didn't remember her name. I just said, oh, thank you, and then I went to fix it, and that was it. Then several months after, somebody reached out to me and said, Orifunke, I want you to recommend a copywriter to me. I'm like, oh, okay, I think I know somebody. So I remember that girl, and then I reached out, and the person said he wanted a female copywriter. So then I know somebody. So I had to go and look through the group. I started looking through the group to find the particular person, because I just felt that I could not remember the name, but if I saw our WhatsApp name, I'll be able to remember. So I just kept looking till I eventually saw, and then I sent her a message, and then she was shocked, like, my God, you remember? I'm like, yes, I remember. I don't even know how I remember, because there's a lot of things I don't remember. I was like, oh my God, you actually remember? I'm like, yes, I remember. Okay, are you interested in this job? And that's when she told me that she was in 200 level. I said, what? You are in 200 level? I am impressed. Extremely impressed. So she could not take up the job because she was still a student, and then they needed somebody who was already out of school. They needed somebody who was already out of school. So you need to not just be visible in terms of just showing up or just being seen. I mean, just us seeing your name or seeing your picture or whatever. You need to be strategic, so that at least when people say that, oh, there's this kind of opportunity somewhere, you just come to mind. You just come to mind. Like in a world like this, where most of the jobs that you apply for, most of the jobs that you get, most of the ways people get jobs is online. It's online. Everything is online. It means that if you are not paying attention to visibility online, and I'm not saying maybe you want to be you want to start you want to be an influencer. No, I'm not talking about that. Right? But you want to pay attention to visibility. People need to be seeing you. Right? You need to ask yourself, okay, so what are the opportunities that I'm looking for? What is the kind of career that I'm looking for? If somebody sees an opportunity in this field, are they likely to send it to me? Are they likely to think about me first? Oh, I think you're interested in this opportunity. Are they likely to send it to me? You cannot be quiet and expect people to be extremely open about opportunities for you. So you need to think in visibility. How can I be visible? How can I get people to see me? How can I get people to see me with respect to the things that I'm interested in? How can I get people to see me with respect to the things that I know? Okay. So Odushote says, I agree. I was very visible on IG during my service year. Yes, and a lot of prominent people in my field reached out. Yes, that is it. And the truth is that a lot of times you don't know people are watching, and people are. People is just on your WhatsApp, you're showing up every day. People are watching. You'll be shocked. People are watching. And you really never know, because the brain functions in a lot of times you don't even plan what you remember. So somebody just meets you and say, Tolu Lope, oh, please. Okay, I think I know why I've been shouting Tolu. Oh my God, Tolu Lope is our customer service officer at the academy. So she's in my head. So, and I'm like, somebody said, tells me, Orifunke, I need somebody in this field, somebody you think can do this. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just get back to you. I need to process. I need to think. Then I'm like, okay. I start to think in terms of who on my list have I seen has posted something like this? Maybe a job they did, or an internship that they had, they just shared, or value that they shared. And then my brain starts to sieve out people so that I'm able to get somebody. Okay, yes, that person. I think I can recommend that person. And then that's how it happens. And then that's how it happens for most people as well. That is how it happens for a lot of people. So you need to think about visibility, because a lot of time you can't blame people for, don't worry, we'll soon be done. We'll soon be done. We'll soon be done. Yes, actually, I love the fact that people are connecting already. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well done. Well done. Yes, and then another thing about visibility, some of you, I know you're really quiet people, you are reserved people, you're like, I don't like anybody. But you need to look at the pros and the cons of your reservedness. Yes, your quietness. I'm not saying it's bad to be quiet, right? But you want to look at the pros and the cons. What are the pros? What has it helped me to gain? What has it not helped me to gain? Right? I mean, pros and cons of your quietness, and then see if it's actually, and then you can actually still be quiet and be visible. There's a book. Yeah, there's a book by sorry, not a book, a video post by Adaora Lumina. So you can search for on Instagram. There's a video post, an Instagram post she just did yesterday or 2 days ago, where she talks about, I want to be, I'm a private person and all of that. You can be a private person and still be visible. And one other thing that is very extra that I want to talk about. Some of you want visibility. Do you know that your name could be a huge part of getting visibility for yourself? Your name could be a huge part of getting visibility for yourself. So one of the things that you may, it's not a must, but you may have to consider is your WhatsApp name. We don't know, it says Sexy Lizzie. When you comment, it's Sexy Lizzie we are singing. There are over 200 people who have not saved your number. They don't know who you are, but it's Sexy Lizzie. How am I supposed to put Sexy Lizzie in my head and know that it's, ow, ow. Some of you're trying to build your personal brand online on other social media platforms, right? And then I know you as Orifunke Lawal on Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn, and then on a group, you're bearing beautiful mama. How am I supposed to link? Like, how? So that's actually things that those are things that you need to consider. I mean, these are things that you need to consider, when starting when starting or choosing your career. So these are like the same opportunities that start. And then after a while, when all of these things start to form, you notice that it's a lot easier for you to say, these are the kind of jobs I want to apply for. These are the things I want to do. Of course, there's the application process. And then if you know that you cannot write, and on a normal day you cannot write, you associate with yourself, it's a weakness. Before you send a job application, look for somebody in your circle who can write and have them look through it. If you don't have people in your circle who can write, there's a problem. But look for people in your circle who can actually write and then have them look through it. Somebody who does CVs, even if it means that you're going to pay them, have them look through it so that it helps with your visibility. Yes, that's a part of visibility when you are trying to apply for jobs or for opportunities. And then, yes, I'm not there for experience. Yes, I forgot, beyond reaching out to people and volunteering for them, could also be working on a certain kind of project. When you work on a project, it is yours. So you can always lay claim to it and say, I did this, I did this, I did this. So now, in conclusion, for a lot of people, right, like I mentioned earlier, it's not always going to be 2 and 2. There'll be a whole lot of trying, and then, being open and trying out new things and then saying, okay, so this is where I'm going to, but this is currently where I am, and this is what I want to do at the moment, and then this is how it's going to help me. So it often takes time, and that's why I always recommend you starting earlier. And the best time to start was yesterday, like they always say, and the second best time to start is now. So if you were not able to start when you were in 200 level or 300 level, and now you're 5 years after school, the second best time is actually to start now. It is to start being intentional, and this is how you choose or change your career path. So yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody who watched up to this point. So now we're going to be moving on to, we're going to be concluding now. And then please don't forget to use the hashtag. If you are sharing on Twitter, please don't forget to use the hashtag YPAP with OL. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, Orifunke Lawal Academy, Orifunke Lawal Academy. If you don't know the name, just go and search for me. You will see the handles in my in my bio. So are there people who have questions that you want me to answer? You have questions you want me to answer? You have questions? Let me know how this session has been for you. How has it been for you? Has it been worth your time? So let me. Yes, Olufemi Yetunde, that is an amazing thing to do, right? You needed to send an application and you reach out to somebody. And the interesting thing is, this is also one of the importance of having communities. Because now, because you normally give, it's easier to reach out to somebody and say, please, can you help me look through my application? And they'll help you look through it and they won't feel like you understand, right? So if you have any questions, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please use the YPAP with OL on Twitter. Yes, on Twitter. I'm going to retweet as many as I can see. As many as I can see, and let me know how the session was for you. I'm looking for. Oh, don't worry, I'll take water. Joanne, this visibility is a bug thing. You know, I'm very social media lazy. I could just up and disappear for a while and still come back once the spirit leaves. Well, your kind of visibility may not necessarily be like social media. It may be visibility in communities. And if that serves you, that's absolutely fine. Okay, I'm looking. Okay. Yes, people are watching. People are watching. People are watching. Right? People are watching. People are watching. Okay. Oh, so Oluwaseyi said, thank you very much. This has been absolutely enlightening and awesome. I'm so glad to hear. We're going to be opening your obs as well so that you can drop your comments. So okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I believe that nobody has questions. Like, as like you guys understood everything. Okay. Julian says, I got my current job because someone who found the opportunity said I was the first person who came to mind because of my free English classes on WhatsApp. You see? Yes, Abe. She says, last, it takes intentionality and lots of work. Yes, you can't be lazy and progress. It's impossible. You can't. So Katijat says, please, any tips for introverts on visibility? I struggle with it because I don't like attention. Any tips for introverts on visibility? I struggle with it because I don't like attention. I actually understand. I absolutely, totally understand. So if it's in terms of online visibility and you feel like, no, I actually don't want to I don't want to be online. I mean, I don't want to be like that. It's something I feel you can train yourself to do anyway. You can actually train yourself to do. But you can, like I mentioned to Joanne earlier, you can find other forms of, visibility, being in communities and all of that. Maybe physical communities, online communities. And also, you can decide to be anonymous online. You can decide to be anonymous online as well. Like, people don't necessarily need to see your face or know where you are from or know you are Khadijat. You can't decide. I mean, it's not something I would do, but if you feel that could be an hindrance, yeah. But I really feel like, go and watch that video by Adora. Go and watch that video. Yes, if you say you cannot relate with any other app apart from WhatsApp, start with WhatsApp. Now, 2 people have just mentioned they've gotten jobs simply because of what they post on WhatsApp regularly. That should tell you that there's potential there. So start with WhatsApp. I don't drink beer, joke, but thank you. I don't drink beer, but thank you. Okay, so yes, Toluwashe says my overall take home is that you show up even when you feel you have nothing to offer. Yes, because where you are today, I mean, there's somebody who has not gotten there yet. There's somebody who has not gotten there yet. So you have somebody to you have like some form of experience or knowledge that you can give somebody who is coming behind you. So, all right. So, Ogenetega, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Utman says, I am an ambivert, but I turn up my introvert quotient with new people as a lane minder. I totally understand. You can get this book by Larry King. Um, How to talk to anyone anywhere. I think that's the title. How to talk to anyone anywhere. It's going to help you. It's going to help you. I can actually relate because I'm like that too. But yeah, how to talk to anyone anywhere. So I currently work for someone, a personal work I got via a friend's recommendation who works in one of the top companies in the food sector. How do I leverage the relationship? Odubanjo Oroluwa. So number one, please see it first in terms of what you can offer them. That's for somebody who has gone ahead of you. See it in terms of what you can offer them before thinking of what you can get from them. Right? See it in terms of that. What do they need? What are the, and you need to look at it. I know you work for the person, but look beyond your scope of work. What are the extra things that you feel like this person needs help with that you can actually get some form of experience? You can help out, say, okay, I need I think you need help with this. Is this thing I know it's not in my job description, but I can actually help you with this. If there's somebody who do not necessarily like to go out of the scope of regular job description, they may tell you no. But the more you open up to them, the easier it is for them to, trust you enough to bring them into their circle, because trust is really expensive. So don't look at it in terms of, oh, what can I get from this person? How can I get from that? This person has connections. Don't look at it in terms of, what can I offer this person? How can I help this person's work become better? Yes, how can I add value to their lives? Because definitely they would need something. Yeah, so I hope I answered your question, Odubanjo. So can you share for me? That is the name, Adaora Lumina, Lumina. So Utman Moturayo, Orifunke, I am currently studying chemistry, but I feel my interest is totally different from this, going by the personality test and others. That is absolutely fine. Like, you're being sincere with yourself. So now you want to find out what opportunities, what experience can I start to gain? How can I now make the pivot? Now you're not going to work with chemistry, so you're not going to keep working like you want to. You have an idea, this is the field that I'm going to work with. So what kind of courses do I need to take? What kind of events do I need to attend? And yeah, so what kind of people do I need to meet? Communities I need to belong to? Opportunities I need to apply to? Yes, I hope I answered your question. Okay, so Deborah says, I'm a social media manager veering towards media marketing. I need to focus on getting ad skills, which will take some time. How do I earn while I'm learning? Because experience is key. One of the mentor sessions is on marketing, digital marketing, and advertising. So I'm sure that question will be answered there. When we share the link, please make sure you attend that mentor session. Please make sure. Thank you, Esther, for that. So, Deborah, please make sure you attend that session. Right. So, I think I'm fine with what we've taken enough questions, and then we will be calling it a night here. Thank you. Thank you so much, Khadijat. I'm so sure. I'm so happy you enjoyed the session. I'm so glad you love how interactive and understandable it is. So, it's Evelyn. What exactly can be done at this time of the day? Is it a must to have experience in all the apps outside now? No, you don't need to like be on all the apps. You don't need to. Like, you just have to find the one that works best for you. You don't need, not everybody is, and then people do well. I mean, there are people who are not online and then they do well. I'm just saying this might increase your chances. Yes. So thank you very much. All right. So I think we're going to call it a night, and then our next class. Thank you, Amashewa. I love you so much. Amashewa Ojo. Yes. Okay, so all right, thank you guys. I'll only take one last question and then we're going to be done. So, how do I keep a relationship I feel I might need to break even in the next few years? Why are you keeping a? I don't think I understand that question. I'm sorry, Prince. I don't think I understand. How do you keep a relationship? Is it a career relationship or a romantic relationship that you feel you might need to break even in the next few years? Well, if you feel you might need to break the relationship, then just you don't need to stress yourself. It's a waste of your energy and likely a waste of the person's time and emotions. So I don't think it's worth it. Thank you so much, Job. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Okay, you guys, thank you. And night. Thank you very much for joining. I'm going to see you in our next class next week. Please make sure you attend and don't miss. Don't miss. So if you miss, you have to pay to get the replay. All right. So thank you so much, guys, and have a good night. Bye.